Hello humans! Today we are going to go over break and continue. Personally, I don't find myself using these very often, so we'll just quickly go over them. This way you're familiar with them for when you do need to use them. Break is a keyword that's used within loops. When the keyword is seen by Python, it stops whatever loop it's inside. Let's say we had a list of food and sushi is our favorite food. We can write a while loop that will loop through this list, and when it sees our favorite food, it will tell us the index of it. After that, it will break out of the loop. Otherwise, if it sees a food that's not our favorite, it'll just print out that it found a food and it's not our favorite. After our loop is done running, we'll print out all done. Running this, we see that on our first loop run, food at index counter is equal to potato. Since potato does not equal sushi, our if statement doesn't run, and instead we print that potato is not our favorite food, and we increase counter. We've now completed our first loop iteration. A loop iteration is when the block of a loop runs. So we've now completed one loop iteration, and we're moving into the second one. Food at counter now equals sushi, so our if statement runs. We print out that we found our favorite food at index 1, and we break out of the loop. Our loop stops running, and we see all done print out. We break out of the loop because we already completed our goal of finding our favorite food. Looping through the rest of the list would be pointless. Generally, break is used to save us computing power. If our list had 3,000 different types of food in it, we would want to stop running our loop as soon as we find our favorite food. If our favorite food was the first item in that list and we use break, we save our computer from running that loop 2,999 times. If we didn't use break, we'd have the answer on the first loop iteration, but we would still waste resources checking the remaining 3,000-ish foods. You probably won't have to worry about computing power and code efficiency for a while, but saving resources is a good habit to get into. We don't always want to completely break out of a loop. Sometimes we just want to skip a loop iteration. This way we skip over some loop iterations without being forced to skip over all of them. Let's say I had a list numbers and I only want to print out odd numbers. Let's use a for loop this time, and I'll say for every number in that list, numbers, print number. Before we print number, I'm going to add remainder, and that's equal to number modulus 2. Quick review of modulus, it's the remainder operator, so in our case, we divide number by 2, and the remainder will be stored in our variable, remainder. If remainder equals 0, that means the current number is even. If we divide an even number by 2, the remainder will always be 0. In this case, we will continue. This means that we stop this iteration of the loop and continue on to the next. Running this, we see 1 and 3 print out, so let's walk through what we did. We start by setting number equal to 1. We then calculate the remainder of 1 divided by 2. Since 1 goes into 2 0 times with 1 left over, our remainder is 1. Since remainder is holding 1, it does not equal 0, so our if statement is false. This takes us to our print statement, and then our loop repeats. Number is then equal to 2, and we ask, what's the remainder of 2 divided by 2? It's 0. This makes our if statement run, meaning continue gets executed. This skips the remaining code in the for block, which is why our print statement gets skipped. Our loop jumps into the next loop iteration where number gets set equal to 3. Since it's odd, our if statement fails and we print out number. Lastly, number gets set to 4. 4 divided by 2 has a remainder of 0, so our if statement runs. Continue gets executed and the remaining code in the for block gets skipped. Since we're out of numbers, in numbers, our loop ends. Today we went over the keywords break and continue in Python. A big thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Comment below with suggestions for future videos, and I will see you in the next one.